Have you ever tried to grow plants in your room? If you have, you may have started with some easy plants, like cactus, which do not require much water. But even with those easy plants, you might have failed to keep them alive. It is very common among people who grow plants for the first time, and it can lead them to be afraid of growing another plant later. I was one of them too. However, since this spring, I successfully grown 10 plants in my studio apartment, which lacks sunlight and ventilation, so it's actually not appropriate for the growth of plants. But even if you live in that room, you may still want to grow plants. This is why I want to give you some tips. To grow plants well in a room with no sunlight and poor ventilation, it is important to artificially create a well-ventilated and photosynthetic environment and learn how to water plants properly. So let me explain what you need in order to grow plants in your room. So what do you think is the most important factor in growing plants? Maybe water comes to your mind, but water is not the most important. According to the book, How Not to Kill Your Houseplants, it is sunlight that is necessary for the plant's proper growth and survival. So if you don't have sunlight in your room, you need to make artificial sunlight for your plants. So what I recommend is to buy an LED grow lamp. If you don't have money to buy a grow lamp, then you must take your plants outside to be in sunlight. Now that you know what is the most important factor for growing plants, can you guess what is the second most important? It's ventilation, the flow of air. According to Hanguk News, wind and ventilation are as vital to plants as sunlight. So the best way to make wind in your room is to install an air circulator or electric fan and leave it on for a couple of hours a day. If you don't have money and space for them, then you can just buy a mini portable fan as an alternative. As you have learned how to give your plants enough sunlight and ventilation, I'll move on to the last but important factor in growing plants. Although sunlight and ventilation are more important, water is necessary for plant survival. But most beginner gardeners do not know how to water plants properly. According to the webpage, Better Homes and Gardens, the watering schedule for a plant should change depending on the environment of your room. So if your room has high humidity, you should reduce the frequency of watering. And in order to water your plants properly, you should touch the soil with your hand. For plants that like water, you should water when the topsoil is dry, and plants that do not like water, you should water when the soil deep down the surface is dry. Now that you know all the plants need to grow well, growing healthy plants in your room is not impossible. By creating a proper environment and learning how to water plants properly based on the conditions of your room, you can provide the best care for your plants. Before I end my speech, I want to show you some of my plants I grow in my room. And as you can see, they are very healthy now. So if I can, so can you. So the next time you get a new plant, use these tips to keep your plants alive. Thank you.